everyone. I would like to welcome you to today's presentation. This is one of our first Zoom presentations, and I'm happy that you're a part of it. My name is Renee Edwards, and I'm going to be introducing our speaker today. But before I do that, I would like to go over just a little bit of housekeeping. We are keeping everyone muted. You will not have the ability to unmute yourselves until we have the Q&A portion of the presentation. We have also disabled your videos. So after Ms. Lynne speaks, we will allow you to unmute yourselves to show your video, and you can ask questions either via the video or using our Zoom group chat feature. Now I would like to introduce our speaker. Ms. Lynne Celia has a bachelor's degree in information technology and an MBA in finance and investing from George Washington University. Her extreme success in her first career as a business owner and consultant in information technology allowed her the time and opportunity to pursue her passion in finance in order to make a difference in people's lives. So we are so happy she is here today to discuss the very timely topic, reduce money stress during COVID-19. Thank you, Ms. Lynne Celia.
All right. Thank you very much, Renee. I appreciate that wonderful introduction. I don't know that I could have introduced myself any better than that. Welcome everybody today. I'm so happy you could join us to talk about stress, in particular money stress, during this unprecedented time of the COVID virus. So let's take a look and begin our talk today. A disclosure, I am a certified financial planner. This presentation today is educational. I'm not giving custom financial advice or financial planning advice. I'm educating. Education, we tend to be, well, we must be generic in a sense, and talk about things that are applicable to the entire group. And I'm not providing tax advice or accounting or legal advice. I'm here to educate you and help you make informed, educated financial decisions. Today's topic, I'll tell you a little more about me because I think it's very important to know the context of the person speaking. You know, what makes me a financial wellness expert, right? Everybody calls themselves an expert in marketing these days, but really what's behind that big word? What's financial wellness? Talk a little bit about the timeline and the history of how financial wellness came into being, the different types of wellness, the financial stressors in our lives, ways to manage financial stress. And we'll wrap up with a summary and some Q&A. A little bit about me. I'll try and keep this short. I grew up blue collar, middle class, and you know we had a roof over our heads, food on the table, and a new pair of sneakers for school every year. And my mother was a homemaker. My father was a lineman for public service. Where I grew up, it was very interesting. You know, living in Northern Virginia now for over 30 years. Growing up, people were not were not thinking about college. And so, you know, I am the first generation college graduate in my family. I have 2 degrees. My first was in computer science, a bachelor's in computer science. My second is a master's in finance and investing from George Washington University. So you say technology and finance. Well, my careers really paralleled my education. So with a technology degree, I started in corporate, and after about 9 years, I jumped out, started my own consulting business, and grew that into technology company of my own, and I did that for about 15 years. But then I woke up one day and realized, there's more to life. I want to have a family, can't work 60 hours a week. So I pivoted to really to financial services to pursue my passions in life. At the time, it was family and finance. Later on in life, I added another element of faith. So today, I pretty much have a mantra of faith, family, and finance. I've been in financial, let's see, my daughter's turning 14. So I've been doing this about 15, 16 years, but I've been investing since college. That's about 40 years. I took my first student loan. Of course, I had never seen a check that large. And I took my first student loan and I invested it. And I went to work. So when I graduated, I had 10,000 plus money in the bank. I was not your average business owner, technology business owner. I did all of the qualified retirement planning for my company. So naturally, when I wanted to pivot and have a more independent schedule, I chose financial services. So I've been advising and planning in very large institutions for the past 15 years. Now I'm independent and I'm doing education. Financial education, financial literacy. I still do some financial planning, but I am not an active agent investing people's money. So, but I have been met with a ton of adversity, and I guess that's where wellness comes into play. You name it, I have seen it. I've been in many financial situations. For reasons that aren't necessarily obvious. For example, I've been bankrupt. My father came to live with me and I cared for him for 5 years. He had dementia. And as a financial tactic, it wasn't so much out of desperation, but when he passed, I filed bankruptcy so that I could get my affairs and his financial affairs in order. I'm a landowner. I've had a foreclosure. I have done so many things, and each time I learn more and more and more. I've been investing for a long time. About wellness, I suffer from anxiety. I have a genetic predisposition to depression, and since my mid-30s, I've struggled with anxiety. So I could go on and on and on about how I got to where I am today, which is really, I'm better than I've ever been in my entire life in terms of emotional health, physical health, and and all of the wellnesses. So my mission basically is to take what I've learned from a textbook, I guess, scenario, real world experience and personal experience, put it all together and help as many people as I can. It's kind of my third phase of my life, if you will. All right, so let's get started. So what is financial wellness? Well, if you do a ton of research on it, as I have, you can come down to 3 basic definitions. The belief that you have enough money to do what you want to do. It doesn't mean you're wealthy, uber wealthy. It's that you're comfortable. You have enough money to do what you want to do. It's the absence of financial stress. And you don't routinely worry about money. Sure, money's going to be a subject, but is it top of mind? Is it constantly on your mind and worrying you? That's financial wellness. Now, let's put it into perspective. There are many wellnesses, but financial wellness, bar none, is significantly related to your overall well-being. Studies, research, it's a slam dunk. Money is the biggest stressor in our lives. Before COVID, well over 50% of thousands of people surveyed in 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19, over 50% of people cited financial stress as their greatest worry. A large consulting group did a a study in October of last year, and 54% of the people surveyed said they suffered from financial stress the most. So what did it mean to the people that took the survey? Well, 34% said, you know, financial wellness to me would be having no financial stress. Oh, that's a big ticket right there. 18% said, you know, financial wellness to me is being debt-free. 16% said it's the freedom to make financial choices. 16% said it's really having enough money, enough savings for unexpected emergencies and expenses. 12% said it's being able to meet my day-to-day expenses and make ends meet. 4% said it's being able to retire when I want to. So it really gives you an idea, I think, of the types of stress, the types of financial stress, and what seems to be most important. But honestly, these are just figures. You really have to determine what is your greatest financial stress. Which one of these, or is it something else, right? So I'd say about, well, around the early 90s, I was working, and I remember this. Employers had this light bulb go off. Wow, healthy employees are productive employees. And it really began, the whole concept of wellness began in large corporations when the light bulb went off that if an employee is stressed and worried, they're not productive. And there's tons of research to this day that say how much time do they spend fixing problems during the workday. Financial wellness came about in the early 90s. You know, doctors and nurses attended job fairs, and it was all about physical wellness. And then as chiropractic medicine came, they came to the job fair, to the wellness fairs, and they constantly evolved as medicine evolved. Emotional wellness, about the late 90s, when it became okay to talk about, yeah, I'm suffering from depression. Yeah, I'm seeing a therapist, you know. EAPs were introduced, employee assistance programs, and there were even personalized programs for women. You know, how do they manage work-life balance? How do they care? Are they caregivers? You know, it started to be recognized that certain types of people had more stress than others. Women definitely statistically have more stress or worry more than men. It wasn't until about, I guess, the last 20 years that financial wellness came into being, but more so right after 2008 and the Great Recession. People suffered such significant market loss that they really began to rethink their relationship with money. How much do I have? Do I have enough? How much market risk do I have? You know, if I'm ready to, oh my goodness, I had so many clients that could not have retired had their money been in the market. So, you know, it's only been, I would say, predominantly in the last 10 years that we've really honed in on the fact that money is the number one stressor, and money affects emotional wellness and physical wellness. It affects all of our wellnesses. Physical, mental, social, financial, physical, spiritual, cognitive, emotional, environmental. If you research this, you will, you know, there's so many wellnesses. Here's 8 wellnesses in a wellness model: intellectual, financial, spiritual, environmental, vocational, social. I tend to be up here. I break it down personally for myself: physical, mental. This I would replace with spiritual and financial. And then I try to find homes for the other ones underneath these. I think social, for example, would come under mental. But again, you know, do we want to drink from the well today, or do we want to drink from a cup? And I say we want to drink from a cup, okay? We want to really hone in on financial wellness, and within that, what specifically, if we could only pick one thing, are we worried about today versus before the virus? And not a coincidence that April is Financial Literacy Month, and that is how I got to know Renee, by introducing the library to this month of financial literacy and saying, hey, can I come and teach people? Now, that changed. I mean, I was going to do two workshops in person, and quickly pivoted, and the library and Renee were kind enough to let me pivot, do some things online focused on the virus. Now, again, I want to put this into context. If money is the greatest stressor, what were the top stressors before the virus? And for millennials, research shows that it was job security and cash flow. For Gen X, people that were surveyed, it was cash flow, saving for perhaps their children's college education and their own retirement. Baby boomers, unable to retire when they want to, and healthcare. Two huge worries for baby boomers. And myself being one of them. I'm actually at the very beginning, I'm 58, and I'm at the very beginning of the baby boomer generation. So pre-virus financial stressors. If we take a look today, I firmly believe that everybody has a finite amount of stress that they can handle. And today, the stressors from before the virus have been replaced with absolute worry about our physical health. We have an unprecedented pandemic, people are dying, and if you're in one of those at-risk groups, you're terrified, pretty much. Emotional health, we're not connected. We're not connected in the workplace. We're not connected with our friends, our family. We're quarantined. That's a drag on our emotional health. Financial health, without a doubt. You woke up one day and you didn't have a job. Your business shut down. Your investments tanked 38% in 27 trading days. So we're all under a great deal of stress, and we've got to, be compassionate with ourselves and compassionate with others. I myself have gotten into several heated, discussions with friends and family, and realized, oh my goodness, we're so stressed out, So hopefully today I can give you some tips in the framework for how to think about this. Financial stress cannot be solved overnight, but you have to begin by putting it in context. Okay. So the most common forms of financial stressors, as all of the studies and the research show, pretty clearly it's people are stressed because they're living from paycheck to paycheck. Over 70% of Americans live from paycheck to paycheck and don't have any savings. A lot of people stress over having too much debt, which actually goes right into the first point. If you have a lot of debt and credit card companies are beating your door down, well, that's going to add to stress. That's a double wham. Without the lack of savings, if the refrigerator breaks or a virus shows up, you don't have money to absorb costs, expenses, right? An emergency fund generally is 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. It's for if you lose your job, but not necessarily. We never thought a virus would hit. But then again, we never thought Virginia would have earthquakes, and I have earthquake insurance on my house. Believe it or not, my insurance agent said, we don't get earthquakes in Virginia. And I said, well, where were you about 10 years ago? So clearly, There's so many tangents to these sorts of things. The fourth is being able to retire when you want, right? And it really, it doesn't matter. I mean, well, the younger you are, you should worry less. But I have plenty of clients who worry about retirement early in life. It's no secret that millennials think about retiring, and they're quite young. So dealing with financial stress during COVID, you know, I cannot add a lot more than what's already out there. And I could talk about it in length, but I talk to so many people about what they're doing. And the first thing, and many of my friends and family have, you know, I should say they had the benefit of being a W-2 employee that got laid off because of the virus. And when I say benefit, it's because very quickly they went online to the Virginia Employment Commission, filed for unemployment, and within a week got their first check. I was completely impressed with the way that we were able to handle it. And then of course the CARES Act added $600 a week on top of it. I know some people that are making more now than they did while they were working. The maximum you can get now under the CARES Act with unemployment is about $1,000 a week. So if you're a W-2 employee who has lost your job due to the virus, you want to take a look at unemployment. Now, people such as me, you know, I'll tell you right now, people who have their own business, such as myself, 1099er, consultants, gig workers, you know, people that get paid by the job. They're now saying that they're going to help us with the unemployment, but, you know, that's on the way. Hopefully that will get here soon. They're saying with the third CARES Act that we'll see that soon. Small business owners, people who actually had employees, I think they're hurting the most, quite honestly, in this pandemic, because they're caught between the larger companies gobbling up all of the loans, all of the aid, all of the principal, the payroll protection program, and all of the, you know, all of the help for business owners. They're getting squeezed. I do not know one single small business owner that has been able to get help. Their employees can, and they can as an employee of their company. But for the business, no. It's very hard to come by. I'm amazed at how the mortgage companies and the utility companies and the credit card companies are waiving our liabilities for 90 days. I've not had any trouble doing that, nor do I know anybody that has. It's very stressful to sit on the phone for several hours, but I would say it's necessary, you know, to do this. At least we can all do something else while we sit on the phone. Many things, penalty-free withdrawals from retirement plans, loan forgiveness. But here's the big point. Those suffering the most during this virus were financially stressed before the virus. So I can talk very much, I want to talk about financial stress during the virus, but this is temporary. This will pass. We'll talk more about that. Money affects everything. Oh my goodness. If you're worried about money, sometimes you can't breathe. You have anxiety. You can't eat. You can't move. You can't think. You don't want to play. It's hard to communicate and be intimate. Money affects everything, and that is why it's the #1 stressor. That is why we've got to get a handle on it. It is absolutely imperative that we find a way to manage our financial stress. Studies have found that people with financial stress are at greater risk for insomnia. That's me. Depression, me. Psychological distress, me. Migraines since I was 35. I don't have high blood pressure, but I have suffered from all of the other. And I shouldn't say it was due to money. It was due to, I have a generalized anxiety disorder. I just get, anxiety when I hear a noise, so to speak. So I've had it for about 20 years, and I'm finally over it and through it. Research published in the Psychosomatic Medicine found that individuals who experience major financial stressors report greater levels of psychological distress and lower levels of psychological well-being. I hope this isn't overly redundant with everybody listening today, but you really have to understand the underpinnings of any type of stress and how it affects your entire overall well-being. So what do we do? What can we do? What can we do? Well, first we have to understand financial well-being is a continuum. And you move along this continuum. Actually, I should have another arrow here because you move along the continuum. You take baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. You put a lot of effort into your financial well-being. You learn, you plan, you get support, and you work your way up towards being highly satisfied with your own financial situation. However, you've got to be careful of so many things, and this is just one example that can set you back. Benchmarks. Oh my goodness, I don't have 6 months of savings. I am stressed out about that. Oh, I have to pay off all my debt. I am stressed out about that. After a while, you really get desperate and you throw your hands up in the air and you say, you know what? I have to win the lottery. It's the only way I'm going to get out of this. So, be careful about being too hard on yourself. You have to eat the elephant one bite at a time. And be careful of your benchmarks. Okay? Yeah, start small. And you're going to work your way down to financial wellness. To go easy, go slow, be compassionate towards yourself. Bar none, the most critical thing to managing wellness of any kind really is sleep. I have wrestled with sleep my entire life, and I still do. But using alternative techniques, I'm actually off of sleep medication, and I'm getting enough sleep at night to recharge my batteries and reset for the next day. Now, these are not all of the things I'm doing, but these are just some suggestions, and you can do a ton of research on the internet. Drink warm milk and honey before you go to bed, light therapy, take a hot bath. This is a big one for me. I keep my house very cool at night. Check your medications. Maybe some are keeping you up at night and should be taken in the morning. Turn off artificial lights, silence your cell phone. This one I love, reset your body clock, especially during the quarantine. Go outside, stand outside, do whatever you can outside, but go outside at noon and reset your body clock. You have to get sunshine, even if the sun is behind the cloud. Exercise, meditate, learn Tai Chi. I have learned to meditate years ago. I don't exercise as much as I should, who does, but meditation is very key, doing breathing techniques, natural supplements, magnesium, melatonin, many of them out there. Bedtime ritual, don't go straight from your cell phone to bed. Read, listen to music, do a journal. I just got a weighted blanket and I love it. So lots of things we can do to get a good night's rest, especially during this time of COVID. It's the most important thing we can do to help ourselves. And even if you have to take something to help you sleep, it's better than tossing and turning all night long. You will not become well if you're tired. You will not. Other ways to manage stress. Cognitive behavior. See a therapist. I have been on and off therapy, talk therapy, for 20 years. It's wonderful. The hard part is finding a good therapist. A lot of us don't have insurance. I've gone without insurance in my life at different points in my career. And if you don't have the money for a therapist, I kid you not, they will give you a sliding scale. Therapists really want to help, and they want to help you get to what's bothering you and fix it. Introspection. This, oh my goodness, I could do an hour on this. This is reflecting inward and really taking a look at your own thoughts and feelings around money. This is huge. If I could, I would make it flashing right now. You know, we all talk about baggage, and a lot of us believe that we learn everything from our parents as we're growing up, and we bring into our adult lives the good things, the bad things, you know. But I can tell you, if you go back and you think about how your family, how your parents felt about money, how they perceived it, their behaviors around it, you may stumble upon something that can help you. Obviously, you can take medication. Again, personally, I fought this for many years. I didn't like the stigma. Eventually, I learned that I had to be compassionate towards myself first. And sometimes medicating is really what you need to do, just so you can get a handle on the things you need to work on to eventually someday not be on medication. Spiritual guidance. I do consider my faith to be definitely attributed to my ability to handle stress. Support groups. You find that when you talk about money, everybody has the same issues. Everybody. Everybody has the same issues. Breathing, mindfulness, a simple 1 to 2 minute breathing exercise when you are highly stressed. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. The breath out should be twice as long as the breath in. So you breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Research. We have so much time on our hands now. Research right now, you're home. Research how to educate yourself on the financial stressors that you have. There is a ton of information out there, a ton. Meet with a financial professional. I'm a little biased here, but I would meet with a certified financial planner, somebody who's not going to sell you anything other than advice. Take baby steps, okay? If you have a cash flow issue, then you clearly need to be focused on how to budget. If you have a cash flow problem, perhaps you have too much debt and you need to look at debt management, debt consolidation. Lots of information out there, lots. But again, baby steps. If you worry about an unexpected expense, then it's not easy, but then we know that it's looking at your saving habit, which on the flip side says we have to look at your spending habits, which gets us back to budgeting. Budgeting is definitely the first step in any financial plan. Emergency fund. Yeah, do I need 6 months? Well, 3 months would be great. Well, it might take me 3 years. Okay, that's fine. You got to start somewhere. But savings and emergency fund are really the same thing, right? You've got to have access to money should something happen. Something like an appliance breaks down or you lose your job, right? Unable to retire. You know, this is a very sad one. If you've got enough time, you can fix anything. But if you're waking up one day and finding out that you may not be able to retire when you want, you've really got to reassess and reprioritize. There's no quick fix other than we say in the business. Well, you have to work longer, live on less, or die sooner. Like, excuse my financial planning humor, but unable to retire. If you're not able to retire because the market has gone down 30%, that tells me that your money is taking on too much risk, right? If you're within striking distance of retirement, you should not be in the market. So what I'm trying to say here is financial wellness, you could have all three of these right now, but you've got to pick one. Work on one before you can work on the other. And slowly over time, you're going to see yourself, you're going to reap the benefits and you're going to feel the benefits. Our research shows, well, how much money is enough? We all know people. We know people who don't have much money and they're always so darn happy. We know people that have a ton of money and they're just never happy. And that's because the facts are, beyond supporting our basic needs in life, right? Money has limited effects on our happiness. Once we get used to our level of affluence, we start to feel ordinary and almost as if it's inadequate. It's true. And I can definitely say that I know many people, of course, many clients, right? Working with so many, I would say hundreds of people over the past 15 years. I see this all the time. I also see where people just want to be worried about something. I see people with plenty of money, but they just want to be worried. So again, you've really got to get to the root. You've really got to be pragmatic and factual. Math is, finance is numbers. And numbers and math and analysis, it's just not fun. There's nothing fun about this. But when you come out the other end, you're going to feel better. So when are you financially well? Well, this is going to, be a little, I guess, anticlimactic in the sense that we've talked about these throughout the past, half hour or so. It's when you can make ends meet, when you can absorb financial shock, and you're on track with your financial goals. You feel secure, happy, productive, engaged. Life is not, in financial wellness, does not mean that life is perfect and that we all skip down the road holding hands. But it does mean that when we're hit with something out of the blue, we can handle it. I think a key term to financial wellness is resilience, right? How well do you handle the unexpected? Because we try to plan for and predict the future, but there's always an element of the unknown. But believe it or not, you can plan for the unknown. You don't know what the unknown is, but you can certainly plan for it. So for each of us, again, I'd like to just recap and say that COVID-19 and losing our jobs and our business and our livelihood, we have to keep telling ourselves this will pass. Now, things will never be the same. It will be a new normal, but it's temporary. It will pass. Nobody's going to be evicted during this virus. And I would venture to say nobody will be evicted after the virus. So the virus is horrible. It's a horrible time. But I'm actually quite amazed at how well everyone is handling it. Pre-virus stress, that's the real killer, you know? How were you before the virus? What kept you up at night versus what keeps you up at night today? Understand that your pre-virus financial stressors are directly linked to your COVID stressors. If you couldn't pay your bills before the virus, chances are you can't pay them now. Although, like I said, there's a small group of people that might actually be slightly better financially because of the virus. But that's really not the focus here. I'm happy for those people. But understand that stress before the virus is linked to stress after. Focus on today first, obviously. Get to know how you can be helped with the CARES Act, right? Unemployment. Reallocate. I mean, I can certainly send you information on the CARES Act, but it's so, you know, if you don't have access to the internet, well, I guess if you didn't have access to the internet, you wouldn't be on this presentation, but, you know, we can take money out of our, assuming we have retirement accounts, we can take money out of them now without paying a penalty. Well, I'm such a financial person that I say, yeah, but that stinks. I'm not retired. I don't want to touch my retirement account. That stresses me out. So again, even I get stressed, but the point is how does it affect all your entire well-being? And rest assured, I am not uber wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm happy to say that I'm financially well and in every respect. Use this time, this crazy, unprecedented time, to enrich your life. When this is over and you can look back, what are you going to say? I was completely stressed out, or I learned yoga. I learned to meditate. I painted the bathroom. What is it you did? I'm sitting down with my son every day, and I kid you not, spending the time with him and his schoolwork, nothing like one-on-one to really help kids learn. He is a fabulous teacher, but she's got 30 students. So I think that's something that's very enriching that's going to come out of this. At the end of the day, if you don't take control of your financial future, who will? Identify, focus on your primary money stress, and work on it. Research it, talk about it, and don't be afraid to get help, whether it's through your personal network or with a professional, a therapist, a financial planner, you name it. Gradually reduce your stress. Gradually. Nothing about this is overnight. And basically, create little mini plans for other stressors. I certainly don't want to simplify, but unless we can put this into context, right? You've got to start somewhere. You've got to take a step forward. So the old phrase, don't worry, be happy. I say, don't worry, be well, and be happy. With that, I will open it up to pretty good. It's 1:15. We've got about 15 minutes or so. If anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask.
So now everybody, you have the ability to unmute yourself, so you can either ask your question or we can use the chat feature and you can type your question. Malinka typed, any financial advisor suggestion?
Okay, so Malinka, you're asking, do I have any suggestions for a financial advisor? Yes, I can definitely give referrals. I would suggest going onto my website, and I'll show you that when we wrap up. Shoot me an email, and yeah, I'll be happy to give you some referrals. Thank you.
Then we had a question about getting access to the presentation. So we are recording it. I will send it out shortly. If you register for this presentation, I have your email, so I will send it to you directly.
Wonderful. I'm glad. I love when people want the presentation. That means there was something in here that perhaps you found helpful.
I took pictures.
Good for you. Darn, I forgot to put my copyright trademark on it. Oh, well. Honestly, you know, this is just a compilation of life, personal and professional experience. So can't trademark that, can we?
No. Well, we can understand that we're very similar.
Yes, yes, we are. We really are. I've got so many financial stories to tell. Trust me.
So Lynn, there's another question. Someone got laid off in March and they've had a hard time paying their bills. Are there any grants that she could apply for?
Well, she got laid off. So I would first say, obviously, did you go and file for unemployment? Unfortunately, a lot of people that get, because that's first and foremost, that is what you have to do. But to file for unemployment, people don't realize you have to have been a W-2 payroll employee. That means you get a paycheck from your employer every week or every month. So first I'd say, if you're a W-2, go get unemployment. After that, then you need to take a look at how to fill in, you know, how to make ends meet if unemployment is not enough. Unemployment's never enough, but as I said, right now, people are getting an additional $600 a week. Well, even if you're in a low $100 a week unemployment situation, you would actually get $700 a week, which, you know, but that is there's no cookie cutter answer for that. So please, please reach out to me, go onto my website, contact us, and please type in your question. I'll give you a call and I'll help you. You know, I'm offering my services during COVID at no charge. Because it's really, I think, just we need to help each other. And even after the virus, I'm just not sure it will bounce back so quickly. So yeah, so don't hesitate. But that's no cookie cutter answer, other than to say, if you got laid off, you look at unemployment. If you can't get unemployment, I know people that don't get paychecks and they get their money off the books. I mean, let's be real. That's hard. That's hard. And are you a business owner? Well, do you have a business license? You know, there's just so much to this. People are getting hung up getting small business help because, oh, they never got a Fairfax County business license. So I don't have a great answer for you without actually talking with you.
So Lynn, there was a request. Can you type in your email in the chat group feature so people can have that?
I sure can. Actually, I have just a couple, and we don't have to close now, but I'll show you the slide and we can continue. This, you know, I'm always coming up with quotes. Like I call them Lynn-isms. And my most recent one is, rest assured, if you don't make informed, educated decisions about your money, somebody else will be happy to decide for you. Even if you work with an advisor, you must be educated about working with an advisor, for example. I'm just a click away or a call away. Clearly can't meet in person. Here's my email. Lynne at Celia Financial. Celia is my last name. My website is www.celiafinancial.com. And I'll tell you, the virus really got me going to do what I've always wanted to do, because everything I did was in person. And now I actually have a website. People can subscribe to my market updates, my Lynne's updates, because I am able to read things and know immediately whether it has value. I can sift through all of the fluff and get down to the brass tacks. That's really what my emails and news and updates are all about, is really cutting through all the junk. You can ask me a question. You can book a meeting right now at no charge. Register for a workshop like this. I have other workshops going on, not just through Fairfax County Libraries, but I have other workshops. And I'm slowly building up my online content. So you can replay recorded workshops. I'll be, doing some videos and some podcasts. Watch out, world, here I come.
There was a request to post the quote again, and there was a question about, can you provide additional resources for meditation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. In terms of meditation, I like, the best free app out there for me is Buddhify, right? I mean, everybody hooks you in with a freebie and then they want you to pay something. I like Buddhify without paying for it. Buddhify, Buddhify. I can look it up, and if you want, send me an email and I'll make sure I get the right spelling to you. There is one that I pay for called Headspace, but there are so many. And there's different meditations. Like, for example, you can meditate for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You can meditate on gratitude, where you keep your mind. Meditation is about mindfulness. So you always have to have a focus. Always have to have a focus. So it's that focus on your breathing. That's the core of meditation, is breathing, focusing on the breathing, and being in the moment. And I kid you not, it is one of the greatest things that has helped me with my anxiety and my stress, is because really anxiety is just you physically or emotionally worrying about something. Sometimes you don't even know what you're worried about. So I can definitely give you, there's apps out there, there's techniques that are free that you can learn. You can focus on people that you love, people that love you, people you're grateful for, things you're grateful for. You can focus on objects in the room. It's like drinking from a fire hose. It's funny, I was going to open this up with a little meditation exercise. I don't know if you noticed, but I got into it when I started counting. I almost went to sleep when I did the breathing and the counting. I almost fell asleep on everybody. But, and that's probably, one of my favorite. I actually meditate with my 11-year-old son, and but very, kid stuff, easy stuff. But if you do have other people in your life, don't think meditation is just for old, stressed out people, or don't judge meditation. Everybody needs to learn self-control. So Buddhify, Headspace, my fitness app has given me some great meditation exercises.
And then could you show your quote one more time?
Can I go backwards in, Let me
I think
see.
you
Yes, of
right.
course. Let me
Right.
just, that's okay. That's fine. I can go my Lynnism, huh? So you mean people really are listening to me? I mean, rest assured, if you don't make informed, educated decisions about your money, someone else will be happy to decide for you. And, you know, it's, yeah, there's always somebody that's going to tell you how you should spend your money, how you should say, whether they're a financial advisor or, you know, your mother-in-law or whoever, right? There's always people, your friends. Oh, you shouldn't buy that. Oh, you know, no, you know, you have to be informed and educated. You don't have to be, it's not rocket science. Money is just, it's not a fun thing to do, really. Finance is not fun. I'd like to think it's fun, but it's not really fun. But you really have to own it, take control of it, or somebody else is going to come right up beside you and make the choice for you. And without choice, you really don't have anything. And that goes for a lot of things in life, I think. So if there aren't any other questions, please send me an email. I'm offering next week, same day, same time, through the library. I'm offering Protect Your Investments during COVID-19. So what I'm honing on here, and please spread the word. We talked about financial wellness, and investment performance is a huge stressor. Not so much for millennials, but more your older Gen Xers and your baby boomers. If you do have some money in the markets are down, up, down, up. It's a roller coaster ride. It's creating a lot of stress. There are some things you can do, and it's not just because it's COVID. And there are some things you can do to protect your investments. Okay, COVID is COVID. We've got to get through it. And hopefully we come out at the end better than we were before. But I'm giving a workshop here, and I'm going to talk with the library about maybe offering some other workshops. But if I don't do it through the library, I certainly will be doing them myself. And so if you do join, if you subscribe and join my mailing list, I'll keep you up to date on the future workshops that I hold. And by all means, I would appreciate if you enjoyed today, send me a quick note telling me how you benefited. And if you have any suggestions for improvement or any suggestions for future topics, or if you just have a question, really don't hesitate to reach out. Last thing is, I'm holding my first Wealthy Wednesday. Every Wednesday at noon, I am going to be live where people can just call in with questions. I love, phrases, and wealthy is a wonderful word that I created. But come to find out, I'm not the only one who's thought of this word, but it was an original thought of mine. And then when I researched it, I found, well, you're not so original, Lynn. But wealthy is the combination of wealth and health. And honestly, how can you have one without the other? We stress about money. And the minute we're waiting for the results from a particular test that we had to take at the doctor's or a loved one had to take, and we're waiting for the results, at that moment in time, money does not matter. So I really like to look at the dynamics between physical health, emotional health, and financial health, wealth. But that's basically my way of saying call and you can ask about anything. any type of wellness. So Wednesdays at noon, live Q&A.
Is that on your website?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, you can join. Like you have to go down to the middle of the page and you'll see the workshops, and then you just click book, and it'll send you the appointment with a link.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Does anybody have any other questions?
You couldn't see us with the camera, could you?
No, I can't. Would you like me to? Oh, would you like to see me? Oh, hey, I was supposed to show my video, Renee.
Yes.
Oh, well, I haven't showered in 2 weeks, and I don't know. Let me see if I can say a quick hello. Hold on, start video. All right.
Oh, no.
Hey, there I am. I have a picture on my website, but I honestly think it's like 10 years old. I don't know. But, we always put younger pictures on the internet. Nobody ever really looks the way they do.
Well, we joked last time that we were talking, and it's like a quarter after I realized, oh, I'm missing the thing. So I yanked out my laptop, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this on the camera. It worked out well that way.
Okay. All right. Well, yes, I really do exist. Here I am, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. We're ending on time, which is a wonderful thing.
Good. Well,
Thank you all very much, and please stay healthy.
God bless. Thank you too, Lynn.
God bless everybody.
Thank you so much, Lynn.
All right. Thanks, Renee.